And I was reading about this horrible shooting in Maine.
Yeah.
And I heard, we don't know much about the guy yet, but apparently he heard voices. And I thought, is he that different than Mike Johnson?
The Bible doesn't just inform his worldview, it is his worldview. In fact, during his first speech in his new job, Johnson suggested that his election as Speaker was an act of God. His views on policy are essentially what you'd expect from a religious fundamentalist.
Did both of those just happen on TV? The new House Speaker, Mike Johnson, facing attacks from the media on his Christian faith. The Daily Beast comparing him to the Taliban and the mullahs in Iran. Here's his response.
Look, there are entire industries that are built to take down public leaders, effective political leaders like me. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, it comes with the territory. It doesn't bother me at all. I just wish they would get to know me. I'm not trying to establish Christianity as the national religion or something. That's not what this is about. It's just disgusting. I mean, that is absurd.
What a sad state of affairs. Fox News contributor and columnist for The Messenger, Joe Concha, joins us now. Joe, this is the media attempting to take somebody down based solely on their religion. What's your reaction to this?
It's not surprising. It is disgusting. Mike Johnson used the proper word there to describe some of the reporting from, journalism outlets like the Daily Beast, and obviously what we heard from Jen Psaki. And, we have all this anti-Semitism that we're seeing in our own nation right now. And you have people like Jen Psaki saying Mike Johnson is a, quote, threat, unquote, because what? He's a Christian? Perhaps Ms. Psaki should look at the comments by members of her own party, her friends like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, calling Israel a racist state and engaging in apartheid if she's looking for rhetorical threats to this country. Here's my favorite from The Atlantic here, guys, Carly Todd. Quote, in 1867, Mike Johnson's great-great-great-grandfather, a Confederate soldier, pledged not to engage in rebellion again. Because what everybody's great-great-great-great-grandfather did 150 years ago has any bearing on the way this man can possibly lead a party in the House. It's just pathetic at this point, Todd.
And also, half the country fought on one side, half the country fought on the other. If you trace every person from the South's lineage, yeah, they may have somebody who said, we're not going to fight for the South anymore. How is that controversial? Precisely. Just quickly on this, Speaker Johnson went on to say this is an attack on the Judeo-Christian foundation of our country. Joe, isn't that the point of a lot of these attacks? Attack the foundation and the building here, in this case, America, collapses?
That's the whole thing. It seems like if you're a Christian, suddenly it's a free target. It's the easy religion to pick on. I just don't understand why, when he just says, okay, I'm blessed to be where I am, and thank God for all my gifts, appreciating what I have, that's somehow controversial. But in this world, it doesn't matter who the House Speaker is. They would have found something, whether it was Steve Scalise, whether it was Jim Jordan, whether it was Kevin McCarthy, as we've seen, to paint this person somehow as an extremist and as evil and bad for the country. That's just the way the game works now at this point with many in our media.
Yeah, ending the show on this with you, Joe. Email from February 2018 reportedly shows Hunter Biden was billed hundreds of dollars for overseas calls on a phone linked to Dad Joe. Joe received about $200,000 from his brother Jim's business a few days after making those phone calls. What's your reaction to this?
Well, this is obviously more overwhelming evidence, Carly, that the president himself benefited from influence peddling overseas in countries like China and Russia and Ukraine. And if you replace Biden's name with Trump, it is guaranteed that every Democrat will be calling for his impeachment and his removal. I'll leave it here. Then you look at the home pages of the New York Times and CNN, and there are multiple stories on Trump and his legal challenges. There isn't even a mention of this bombshell regarding Joe Biden, all those phone calls overseas, and a $200,000 check showing that we may have a president that is compromised in many countries, yet somehow it's not a story. Go figure.
I'm just wondering, what human pays for their dad's overseas phone calls? That just seems weird to me. Joe Concha, gotta leave it there. Thank you. Fox and Friends starts right now.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.